Émile Zola was the great hero in France over 100 years ago. In 1898, he wrote the famous article, probably one of the most famous newspaper articles ever written in history, that exonerated Alfred Dreyfus, who was wrongly accused and sent to prison for spying for a foreign government. Émile Zola showed that this was all fabricated, that the French High Command in the army had manufactured evidence and had sent him away to Devil's Island wrongly. Émile Zola accused the generals, he accused the government, he begged the President of France to step in and let Alfred Dreyfus get off the Devil's Island and come back to France. Because of Alfred Dreyfus' case hit the paper like that, all of France was electrified, and he decided that Émile Zola, because he accused the French High Command, he was put on trial for slander. And after 3 weeks, he showed in his trial that it was Esterhazy, the other person who was working in the Foreign Office, who was the one who was probably the one who was guilty of treason. But despite that information, in spite of all these different proof, Émile Zola was found guilty and sentenced to the maximum of 1 year in jail. He fled to England, and eventually came back after a year because the new trial, people were excited about all of this terrible information about how France was probably railroading an innocent man and letting a guilty man go free. So Émile Zola was given the opportunity of coming back to France. This time he was given another trial, and eventually all charges against him were dropped, because public opinion had clearly swung behind Émile Zola and Alfred Dreyfus. We need a new Émile Zola to help let Jim Traficant, go free. Now, not only was Jim Traficant railroaded, everybody that was going to testify him was going to go to jail. Everybody was going to go to jail. And they were either on indictment or they were going to be sentenced to jail. One man was told that not only will you go to jail, but your wife will go to jail, your daughter will go to jail. All these people were terrified because of the government shenanigans going on. And they decided to testify against Jim Traficant and throw him in jail. There was not one shred of physical evidence. Not one shred of physical evidence. Their boxes were brought into the courtroom. And it was asked, is there any information on Jim Traficant? Are there any fingerprints on them, on all this evidence? And they said, no, there's no fingerprints. But they only said no after the judge had allowed everybody, had made sure everybody was let go from the courtroom. They did not hear that there was no evidence. They did not. Not one bit of wiretapping. I accuse Congress also of throwing him out because he was obviously innocent, and they were unfortunately not able to stand up to pressure to defend Jim Traficant. We need a new Émile Zola today to speak up for Jim Traficant, in my opinion. Thank you very much.